All right. How's everyone feeling? Great. Good? Not too tired from the pizza, hopefully. It'd be great if everyone has laptops for this working session. I think most of you have devices. Okay. So, it's a pleasure to be here. We're here from the ZetaChain team. I have a mic right here. Yeah. Can you hear okay? Yeah? Okay. Charlie and I flew in from the United States, so a short 22-hour flight, but it's a pleasure to be here, and the goal of this workshop is to get you set up to build on ZetaChain. How many people have heard of ZetaChain by show of hands? Couple hands? Okay. We met some of you beforehand. So, brief intro, ZetaChain is the first public L1 blockchain with built-in interoperability to other chains. Super high level, and we're going to get into the weeds of it in this workshop. If you think about the history of blockchain, of course, first there was Bitcoin, the canonical example of blockchain and decentralized payments. Then later you have Ethereum, the first smart contracts capable chain, and the ability to build dApps on top of blockchain. And now we're in an environment that people refer to as multi-chain. Lots of new L1s, L2s, and different networks. And so the big challenge as developers is how do we build applications that work everywhere? And for users, it's like, how do you access data and liquidity on all networks in a safe way? And so a lot of the existing solutions in cross-chain today are questionable from a trust model standpoint, and a lot of solutions wrap and lock tokens, and that there's been a lot of exploits. So, we're going to dive into the weeds of ZetaChain, and today we're going to build some what we call omni-chain dApps. And we have Charlie, our head of DevOps and security, that will be leading the workshop. So we can go ahead and get started. Pass the mic.
We can figure out how to work this. All right. Can everyone hear me in the back? I'm not convinced this mic is working, but as long as you can hear me, we should be good. As Jonathan said, he and I came in from the U.S. and how's that? All right, that sounds much louder. All right, so the agenda here, we're kind of going to go through at a high level. What is ZetaChain? What is omni-chain? What are the opportunities there? But the goal is really to have you spend as much time as possible, hands on keyboard, deploying, and really becoming familiar with how to deploy omni-chain contracts and seeing just how easy it can be. There are some links if you want to take screenshots or pictures or grab these early. I know whenever I attend these workshops, sometimes I like downloading stuff ahead of time, so I wanted to give you an opportunity for that. And what we're going to go through today will be the presentation itself. There's a GitHub repo which has our examples and documentation. We have a multi-chain faucet. When you're working in an omni-chain world, right, and you're deploying on ZetaChain, you might be deploying on BSC or Ethereum. You need, testnet assets for all of that. And we'll just chat about the other team. So we have Ankur, who's kind of our founder. He was early Coinbase. We have Panru, who is professor of computer science. He's leading the protocol engineering side. We have Brandon, who's sold a company in the past, and he's leading our product efforts. That's part of the reason when we dive into our Explorer and our Faucet and Labs apps, they look so nice and polished. He's done a great job there. We've got Leo, who's actually here in the room with us, and then Tegi, who's leading up some of our marketing efforts. The team right now is about 25 people, so we're pretty small, but producing a lot. And so, as we talked about before, right, crypto is becoming multi-chain. Show of hands here, how many people have deployed on more than one chain? right? You deploy a contract to 2 different places. All right, so see a few. So yeah, you can't deny, right? It's obviously a lot of opportunity, or a lot of choices out there for where you want to deploy. And throughout this, we want this to be a little more interactive than me just standing here talking at you. So we're going to have a few check-ins where I'm going to ask you questions. I'm going to make you raise your hand over and over again. And hopefully we'll get more people involved as we go. So I'm curious, has anyone tried any other multi-chain or cross-chain solutions, Axelar, Layer 0, anything like that? Cool, then we get to show you the best one first. And I'm curious, right, think about cross-chain. Anyone a maximalist? Do you not believe multi-chain is the way to go? All right. So progression of multi-chain so far, there's a lot of closed systems, a lot of layer 1s and layer 2s, centralized exchanges, bridges, cross-chain bridge aggregators, and then cross-chain messaging is the more recent addition here. These are things you're likely familiar with. They're complicated, high risk. I'm sure everyone has heard, of the many hacks that happen in multi-chain, the many hacks that happen with bridges, and very restrictive. You have to work in their ecosystem. You can't really build things the way you want to build them. And so when we talk interoperability, a lot of people think just multi-chain, right? It's, one app, it supports different chains. Maybe you can swap stuff. Some people think having wrapped Ethereum on every single chain makes it, interoperable or easy to interact with, but it really doesn't. What we believe it can be is the ability to kind of pay and receive from any wallet, getting rid of wrapped tokens everywhere, having chain-agnostic applications and NFTs. As a developer, you shouldn't have to choose a chain and get locked in really early. You should have the freedom to acquire users in different places. Omni-chain portfolio management, and there's a lot of specialized blockchains out there that you can use for specific features, but being able to deploy multiple simultaneously. That's a lot of how it benefits you, right? Avoiding chain lock-in. The larger user base is a big one, right? I think anytime you pick a project, you've got to figure out how many users are on that chain, how many are going to actually want to use your products. This way you can you have access to the whole ecosystem. And you can interact with non-programmable assets. Bitcoin, Dogecoin, things like that. We want to open stuff up too. Yes, so wrapped tokens being the idea of, show of hands, who's familiar with wrapped tokens? Who's interacted with them before? Okay, so wrapped tokens being, like wrapped Ethereum is essentially a representation of Ethereum, ETH, that you can trade on BSC, and you have to hope that whoever is issuing it is kind of trusted and that they have it on the other side, and it makes a big target for people. So what ZetaChain's proposing, what we've built, and what we have running in our testnet right now, is the next step. So we support cross-chain messaging, but the really interesting piece is where you talk about omni-chain smart contracts. The idea of you deploy in one place, and you can interact with assets on multiple chains. So what we'll do today is we'll deploy a swap application that actually you deploy the contract in one place, but you can swap Ethereum all the way over to BSC with just one contract in one place. So, as we talked about before, kind of the only public decentralized smart contract platform focused on this at the moment. We're proof of stake, use tenement consensus. We're chain layer agnostic TSS, meaning we have this threshold signing key system, which we can dive into later, but essentially it allows our blockchain to interact with external chains without, just like they're externally owned address. So it makes it much simpler to manage those assets. So this is that idea here of this hyper-connected node architecture. We have observers that are living on the ZetaChain and watching what goes on in these external chains and monitoring events. We'll come back to this a little bit after we do some more of the deployments so you can kind of see how it works. But this is the general idea, is at a high level we have multiple nodes being our validators, and then we've got, within those, there's this observer signer layer where we're observing and saying, oh, so-and-so sent 100 ETH on Ethereum, and they sent it to our protocol address. and we see that they want to swap over to BSC, and we kind of make that happen. You don't need a contract on Ethereum, you don't need the contract on BSC. Our protocol detects that, passes it through to your smart contract that exists on us, and then transmits out the other side. And obviously, as we mentioned before about bridge security, security for any app is important, especially for cross-chain building. And we believe we've got a much more secure model than a lot of existing chains. And then the externally managed assets. We'll dive into what this means. We have what we call our ZRC20 tokens that are basically representations of ERC20 tokens and native gas assets on externally owned chains. So, for those of you who've talked about deploying on multiple chains, I don't know if you've ever had to, when you deploy to multiple chains, were you managing the same dApp across 2 chains? Has anyone tried to do that? All right. Well, I'll tell you, it's very difficult. I mean, you think how hard it is building an app once, now you've got to do it multiple times, manage things across it. Not only is that hard from a developer experience, it shows in the user experience. When you're building the UI, you suddenly have to figure out how to instruct a user to change networks, sign different transactions. It becomes confusing for everyone involved, right? It's very difficult. And one of our guiding principles is how do we improve the user experience? And part of that is by improving the developer experience, making it easier to build dApps that are simpler for a user to understand. So this is the general idea, right? You can have your omni-chain dApp at this level using ZetaChain, and then it will interact with Ethereum, Bitcoin, you can do Algorand, any chain or layer down here. And just to hammer that home a little more, basically this idea of instead of having this cross-chain passing where everything's going through, it all exists in one place, like a curve or a swap app, and you can interact with these native chains here. So part of the workshop, we're going to actually do both. We're going to deploy an omni-chain contract, and then we're also going to deploy a cross-chain contract that moves an NFT between different chains, so you can get a feel for when you would use either one and sort of the key differences there. And how do we compare? As we talked about, generally we consider ourselves better than all the other options. But you go through, we have faster settlement times. We're more chain agnostic. A lot of people are really tied into one ecosystem. So Polkadot only works with Polkadot. Cosmos IBC only works with Cosmos IBC. Bridges and messaging, they're a little more agnostic, but they don't give you a lot of the other benefits like real-time data settlement, and pretty much no one does Bitcoin support, which we've added. So the benefits of this sort of universal omni-chain application, universal payments and tools, omni-chain DAOs, anything you do right now on a single chain, you can do across multiple chains. So omni-chain NFTs, DeFi, omni-chain identity, that is a big one. Everyone knows you have a wallet in one place, but how do you manage your identity across multiple chains? And there's a bunch of other ideas that we haven't thought of yet. That's why we're here. We want to show you how to work with this stuff, and you all are going to have better ideas than we do. So we want you to take those ideas and run with it, and let us help you build that infrastructure layer. So I'm curious, is anyone working on any of these types of projects, trying to do identity or any kind of cross-chain elements? What are you working on, if you don't mind me asking? Okay, thanks. So you were saying they're trying to build a multi-chain treasury because some of the risks of a single chain, if that chain is down, if there's a hack or anything like that, you obviously don't want to have all your eggs in one basket. You don't have everything on one single chain. So yeah, that type of use case is really great for us because management-wise, it's much easier to manage things in one place and store those assets across multiple areas. So we'll dive into the workshop here. So everyone pull out your laptops, get ready to go. What we're going to go through is a multi-chain NFT, an omni-chain swap application, and the bonus, which we may not get to during this session, but I'll set you up so you can do it yourselves afterwards, is an omni-chain curve app. So these are the links that I should have made a QR code, now that I see how big they are on the screen. But you can also just go to ZetaChain.com/docs and then follow the developer and then quick start section. This is what we're going through. You can see the documents there step by step. And so for the Foresight task submission, what we're going to have you do is when you're done, you're going to have a series of contract addresses, right, where you've deployed these. You're just going to submit a JSON file to their GitHub repo, and you're going to have your wallet address, and you're going to have the swap contract, the NFT contract for quarterly and BSC, and then the curve contract address. And so you're all going to deploy your own version of this, and it should be different for everyone. All right. So show of hands, who is going to finish these before the end of the session? That should be everyone's hand. Yeah, see you back there. All right. And I'm curious, how many people here are running? Is anyone running Windows? I see a lot of MacBooks. Cool. Anyone running Linux? Was that a hand for Windows or Linux? Linux? Okay, cool. And then a lot of Macs. That's much easier to troubleshoot when Linux and Macs than Windows. So first step we're going to do here is set up the local environment. So there's two options here. You can just run our Docker image, and that has everything installed for you, or you can configure your local environment manually. The first thing you're going to want to do, though, is clone our repo. That's going to have a lot of example contracts. Some of those we'll go through today, but it has a whole bunch of other examples we're not going to cover that you can find to help fund or fuel your project. And I'll wait here for a minute and give everyone a chance to get that cloned. All right. Has everyone got that? All right, I see a couple people nodding. So, local environment, if you have Docker installed and you're familiar with it, this is, I think, the easiest option. You can just run docker pull ghcr.io /ZetaChain/ZetaChain. And all of these are in the docs page as well, if you want to just copy paste them from there. And once you have that running, I'll do it here as well in a second. But we made it really easy. If you use yarn-setup-tutorial, it's going to create a new wallet for you, and it's going to hit our multi-chain faucet and download, or not download, but set you up with multi-chain assets. And the other option I'll flip to real quick, I'll come back to this, is if you want to set up your local environment, all the instructions on that docs page. It's a little more involved. You just have to make sure you have Node installed, which if you already have it, that's going to be easy for you. Install the dependencies and then compile. But I saw a lot of people copying from this, so I'm going to go back here. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea. Who's having problems? No first. Interesting. Let me go double check on that. Okay. You have the same problem?
Yeah, I'm the same problem.
Did anybody else get the permission error when trying to pull the Docker image? Did anybody else try to pull the Docker image and do it successfully? I see people looking like they don't want to raise their hands for either one. Someone did something. And what did you say, Docker pull? cr.io. No, it looks right. Oh, we tried putting, no, latest tag should work. Try just doing colon latest. Yes, it should work. You shouldn't have to, but yeah, it should be the same thing.
No, default site.
Yeah, I know, that's why I saw it there. Okay. Why is that not open? One sec. I think you're getting, yeah, the same thing. Yeah, one sec. It should be totally open. Well, you all should have been able to pull or clone the repo, right? Oh, there we go. Sorry, my security paranoia has bitten us. Give me a second and I will get it fixed. All right, try and run that again, and now you should work. Is that working? Cool. You don't have to, no. So if you don't want to use Docker, you don't have to. I'll flip to the other slide here. So yeah, if you have, especially you already have Node.js installed, you don't have to use Docker. So this would be the other option here. And like I said, if you want to copy paste these commands, you can go to our docs website. So Zeta Docs, developer, quick start tutorial, and then deploy your first ZEVM contract. That's essentially what we're working through here. So you can click on that and copy paste a lot of these things to make it a little smoother for you if you'd like. Is that still downloading? I'm curious how the internet speed is here. Is that still running? Okay, it's still running.
I downloaded it.
For? Oh, cool. Yes, yeah. Yeah, so it looks like you downloaded that there. All right, great.
Yeah, but it's still.
Why is it? It's public, so it should work. Yeah, if you do that Docker run, that'll skip past the other piece. So, anyone else trying and having trouble? Alright, I'm not going to go too fast. For people who haven't, I just want to show you the next step. So once you get to run the yarn dash setup tutorial command, once you've got it up and running, and you're into that Docker container, so docker run dash it ZetaChain, then yarn setup tutorial. If you have your own local environment and you're not using Docker, you skip that and can just run yarn setup tutorial. And so what you'll see, if you do use the Docker image, you just get in here and you'll see this, and then yarn setup tutorial. I'm very slow with one hand. So what's it doing? It's actually creating a new wallet for you. You've got a new private key. Obviously, don't use this for anything real. And then it hits the faucet to get you some testnet assets, and it sets up all your environmental files. You can do this yourself if you would like. Like I said, you can edit this file yourself. You would simply come through here, and in the ZetaChain packages example contracts, you'd add a .env file with your private key and these phrases here. But I think for most people here, doing the yarn setup tutorial is going to be the best option there. Did that start working for you? Is it still saying denied? Did that download for you? Did it download?
Ongoing.
Okay, so it's still running. Okay, yeah, there you go. So it should be. Yeah, you're in. Cool.
Just follow the tutorial docs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just follow the tutorial docs.
Yeah, if you want to just set that up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Put it on the main folder.
If you're using your, so you're going to put it in the ZetaChain /packages /example -contracts.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. That's if you want to use your own private key and everything. You can just do the yarn setup tutorial, and it will do it all for you.
So, one, and then I need to go to the code here, then chain. Here I did the yarn setup tutorial.
You did do that?
No, haven't.
Okay, so do the yarn setup tutorial, and then you should be in the right place.
Oh, this is
Cool. There you go. Oh, I'm going to talk about for that. Yeah. So that's you good to go there. Anyone else running into issues?
no such file. Yarn.
Which is the list?
Here, check con.
Okay, so go into that. So you want to CD into that directory. So you're not in. Hit LS. So you want to do CD and then ZetaChain. Oh, hang on. So go back. Just delete all that real quick and then do PWD. So I'll show you. So just do PWD. Let's see where you are. So it cloned. Oh, it could not download. Why does people get that? So let's go back real quick. Give me 1 second to fix that. Why is that not working? It wouldn't be a live workshop without problems. I think so. Yeah, once we struggle through this stuff. Let's see how it goes. So try this. Instead of, if you're having issues with git clone, you're trying to do the SSH. I'm wondering if that's lack of SSH key. So try this one instead, just https github.com/zeta-chain/ZetaChain.
So after I already put the EM file, I already have the token. And what should
Oh, you said it in MetaMask? All right, nice. So give me a sec, we'll get right to it, but basically we're going to deploy the contract next. Yes. Yeah, so if you want to keep going through, you can run through that.
set up the .md, yeah?
Yeah.
And I use that. And then I'm ready.
So change to this deploy EVM.
Oh,
That's what we're going to be on.
it's not this.
I think so. Okay. Let me see if I can get these other folks set up since you guys are a little ahead. Did that work for you?
I don't know why this keep popping up.
Oh, that one? So yeah, you can just minimize that. That'll stay for a bit.
Just keep popping up. So I just need to call them.
So if it's not working with git at, try that one instead. Just git clone HTTPS there. Did that work for you, doing the different one? Okay, so the first one didn't work. Okay. Cool. Oh, and if you did the Docker image, you don't actually need to do the git clone. If you want to pull the code down and look at it locally, I do recommend that, but the Docker image has everything built into it.
Maybe I can get more tokens.
Yeah, so give me a sec. I'll come back to you guys because you're a little ahead. I want to get everyone else caught up real quick. All right, so if you have that, do you have that Docker image running?
Oh yeah.
So you can go in that. You can do everything without the git clone. Okay, cool. And that one worked. Okay. So now you're going to do cd ZetaChain, and so you go into that directory, and now you should be able to do the yarn setup tutorial that you were trying before. Let's see if that works quick. Yeah, there you go. Alright, so I think it's most people who are working on it kind of caught up there. I'll come back over and help out again in a sec though. So at this point, the local environment should be set up, whether that be you configured it yourself or you download the Docker image. And then just a note I wanted to hear for everyone is the way we've kind of designed it, we are built on Cosmos SDK, but it's EVM compatible. You can use the same tooling, Hardhat, MetaMask, Remix, Brownie, however you like to develop, you can do that with us. And even the Cosmos transactions show up in the EVM layer, so they're compatible back and forth. You don't have to, you can pick one and you don't have to know anything about Cosmos to interact with us at the EVM layer. And our smart contracts are written in Solidity for the EVM side. And if you've gotten completely lost and don't know what we're doing, once again, we're kind of starting in that doc site and doing the first ZEVM contract tutorial. All right. So at this point, I'm going to chat a little bit. I wanted to give you some hands-on time before diving into this. As we do the swap app, you're gonna see references to this ZRC20 and kind of wonder, what does this mean? Why do I care? The idea is a ZRC20 is that representation that connects to external chains. So the ones we're going to have here are going to be for Ethereum, for BSC, Bitcoin, and Polygon. And when we deploy the swap app, your swap app doesn't really know about these external chains, and it doesn't have to. You're simply going to say, I want to swap, asset 1234 for asset 596, and you basically give it a contract address, just like you would if you were deploying in a single chain environment. But on the back end, the protocol side, it handles that cross-chain element. So you build apps like you would for a single chain, and we do the heavy lifting to make it omni-chain. And in that same doc site, there's more documentation on ZRC20. We can go over that later. It's not important for this, but when you see how great this is and decide you want to build on us more, you want to learn more about it, that's the place to go find that out. And so you'll see each ZRC20 just has a regular contract address. We have an API endpoint to get the list of everything, and you'll see, if you go to it yourself, you'd see all four, but for the workshop, you don't need to do that right now. And just like a regular ERC20 token, this is kind of the interface. It's all the same stuff. Token supply balance, transfer allowance. The omni-chain token works just like a regular one. Alright. So we'll skip over this, dive back into the swap since we're on a roll there. So the omni-chain swap, it kind of looks like this, right? You could send Bitcoin in to our ZetaChain address, and you include the memo with essentially call swap on swap BTC for Ethereum. This contract you're going to deploy is capable of doing this. So it's actually going to receive the Bitcoin, read the call memo, and then perform that logic based on the contract you have. And resulting, the user gets their native asset over on Ethereum. And you didn't deploy a contract on Ethereum or Bitcoin, obviously. It all just takes place within the ZetaChain layer. All right. So back into the hands-on keyboard part, you're going to have on your local machine or the Docker image, however you did it, you're going to want to go into the ZEVM-examples contract folder. And then once you're there, we have a lot of scripts in this repo to make it really easy to deploy. This is going to be one of them. You can look into it more later if you want. The deployment script's not that interesting, but just know if you want to build on us, you can adjust these contracts, you can take these scripts with minor modifications, you can start deploying your own contracts very easily using these foundations we're giving you. So npx hard hat run scripts zeta swap deploy is going to deploy this for you, and the network selection here is Athens. That's the name of our test net at the moment. Alright, I'm going to walk around and see what people are doing, but you should get something like this, deploying zeta swap with a few addresses listed once you have it working. Does that work for you guys?
Just like when I try to request again, it says pending, or so I just send it to different wallets. I'm gonna send it to the main wallet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry about that. It should have given you enough.
Yeah,
Hopefully no one else runs into that.
I'm gonna do that first.
For example, I need to put my wallet address here. This should be.
Oh, so this actually, did you do the yarn setup dash tutorial?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can skip that. That actually was done for you. I put that in that script.
So just here, this
Yep.
one.
Yep, exactly. Yep, you want to go next?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and see how that goes.
I created the wallet.
Okay.
And I run the command to deploy with hard hat.
Oh, yeah,
But
didn't
it
give
gives me,
enough. Yeah, enough tokens.
I think I'm not adding provider.
Yeah, let me find that out.
Or this is only I add the NV.
No, yeah, you probably did it right. Let me check why that's not giving it out. 1 sec. Do something real quick. Go to open your copy paste your address.
No, I use
The the private key. You did use the yarn setup tutorial.
yeah.
So
I check
yeah, the other thing you can do is
new wallet.
okay. So copy paste that address,
Yes.
and then go to explorer.ZetaChain for me. Yeah, just yep. And type in just type it in. Oh, why did we not give it to you? All right. Yeah, I think a few people are getting the insufficient funds error. Give me 1 sec to see why. There we go. Because you should have all received 0.1 Zeta. If you take that address that was shown to you, you can punch in the address here, and it'll tell you what your balance is. I think that's not working properly, but that seems to be the problem. Alright, so the other thing you can do, for those of you who use your own private key, you can actually go to labs.zetachain and just get Zeta. I was hoping to make this easier for you by having it from the CLI, but that is not working. But this page here, get Zeta. If you have to connect your Twitter account to it, but you can request assets, and that will send them to your wallet as well.
Which one should I submit? There, this one?
So you're going to do the Zeta swap address. That address there, yeah.
So that's one of the addresses that I have to submit.
Yes. Yeah, it's
My
going to be
wallet
the swap
is
one.
the one that I use to deploy.
Yeah, exactly.
What about the others? The others.
So we'll get through to those. So if you do want to work ahead, go to docs.zetachain.com, and then the OmniChain NFT is going to be the next one, and then the last one is going to be click on OmniChain examples. The last one's going to be Curve. Yep. Yeah. Let me see what your address is. So I'm gonna try and grab a picture of this so I can figure it out and send it to you. The thing is not working like it's supposed to. So I can't copy paste that. Yeah, you got the same error, right? Yeah. The faucet is not giving out tokens like it should. Did you? Oh yeah. Yeah. Do you have MetaMask installed?
Yeah.
So what you can do is if you go to, this is a little differently, which go to labs.zetachain.com.
Go to EEE, Cyber all.
Just in the browser, yeah. So labs, LABS, just labs. So yeah, .ZetaChain. Yep, .com. Let's say get Zeta. You can just close out of that, and then do start testing. Hit get Zeta. Yeah, so if you connect your wallet.
So connect to MetaMask.
Yeah, you can connect to MetaMask and then do. It's a different. Yeah, it's a different key. Yeah, so you'd have to change your private key over. I'm trying to think of the best way for you to just. If you give me the address, I can just send it to you, but I don't have a great way for you to send it to me.
I can finish the development on the testing network, right?
Yes, yeah. You don't have to connect no mainnet, nothing like that.
So let's switch to. It's already connected.
Okay, so
You want to check the test?
yeah, so you have to verify with Twitter. So that's why I was trying to avoid having you do this.
How set up this environment
Yeah.
file right here? I use this command line and it does not work.
Can I see? Oh, okay. So yeah, you got it the other way around. So did you try something that you were trying to do the .env file yourself, like manually?
I tried, but it does not work.
Can I see? So let's see. Okay, yeah. So you can try and do. I use VI. I don't know what you use, but so yeah, you should be able to edit that file and put in.
But how to edit this my key?
Yeah, so you're gonna want to just put in. Do you have a private key you want to use? If you don't, you don't have to.
In this mode, I have to write my own private key, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So do you want to do that?
But if I don't want to do that, can it generate some
Yes.
for me?
Yeah. So what you're gonna do? It's just because the order you went in. Let me get out of here. So we're gonna go back to the root. So it'll work from here. Yarn setup. Oops. It's just because you went into the subdirectory, it didn't work. Yeah. So now you should be set there. Yeah, so that testnet faucet, it's supposed to send it to you on all those chains.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's the way it's set up. Yeah, so you hit it once and it sends it to all of them. It just wasn't sending everything. Yeah, you should have a little bit of Gorilla ETH and you should have some BSC. Yeah, if you check the address, you should be set. Yeah, so the CLI faucet is not working like it's supposed to, and all the people who maintain that are sleeping. But if you have your own private key and your own wallet, the easiest option, you can go to labs.zetachain/getzeta, and this will actually give you Zeta on your wallet, plus it will give you Gorilla, Polygon, Mumbai, and BSC testnet gas assets as well. So that'll be everything you need to do the cross-chain swaps. Alright, I know not everything worked, but how's everything going so far? Ready to move on to the next step? I don't see anyone screaming no, so. I'll come walk around again in a second. So anyone who's ready to move forward, I'll cover here. So for the on-chain swap, really it's deployed. All you do is run a command. We automate a lot of that for you. But I want to talk through a little bit of just how it functions. So if you look in the swap Solidity file, that's going to be in the repo I shared. You'll see the top. We're importing just the regular Uniswap v2 contracts. We're actually doing nothing special there as far as the interface goes. And then we've got the Z contract and IZRC20 Solidity interface, obviously on Solidity. And this is kind of the magic that helps make this work. So taking a look at a little closer, we have this idea of the target ZRC20, what are we trying to swap to? And then the gas ZRC20. Obviously for Ethereum or BSC, the gas is the same token, but if you were trying to swap for Decentraland tokens on Ethereum or something like that, you would still use the Ethereum for gas, and you would have a different gas ERC20 versus what your targeting swap is, but that is kind of how that piece functions. This contract doesn't know these other chains exist. It is simply saying, just like you would a regular ERC20 token, you're saying, here's the address, interact with it, right? I want to approve the user for transferring it, and then I want to do a transfer. So yeah, a little deeper again, same thing. You're just going to see references to kind of ERC20, and then targets ERC20, and that's the token address, which could be the token address for Bitcoin, and then it could be Ethereum over here, and the protocol handles the cross-chain elements of that. All right, so I'll leave this up. I'm going to go walk around and see how everyone's doing. So you were able to get yours deployed, or you still having a gas issue? Okay. I wish I had a better way for you to just copy and send me your wallet address. Yeah, I didn't give you a full one. So you do have that, okay.
Now, what's
Try to run it one more time. Yeah, I don't know what's giving us so little. Sorry. Yeah, same thing. So do you want to try and do the swap interface? So did you try? Yeah, I think you need more than that though. So did you try going to labs.zetachain.com? Yeah. Hey. It's going alright.
Okay.
Some technical issues, but other than that, doing okay. I'm trying to think what time we started.
That's fine. Like, I think Jeff is just hanging around with other people as well.
Yeah, timing-wise, what time did we start? 2?
2 or a little over
2:15-ish.
2:50-ish. Right. Yeah. You can anytime you think probably do you think how long probably you'll be needing?
I probably write that like 30-ish minutes, 15 to 30. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Some issues we're making. So yeah, then what you'll just have to. Oh, so that's. Gotcha. Need all that. Yeah. Send me your. I'm trying the best way for you to send me your address. Do you have Telegram? So did you have Telegram? Yeah. So for anyone who's getting the gas issue and can't get it, let me just give you all my. Alright, so if anyone who needs the gas that's not working, just send me a message on Telegram if you have it. It's just Charlie MC0, and I'll send you some of those gas assets. Alright, I can flip back to this in a sec, just so for people who are kind of heading ahead, trying to get ahead. That is essentially the swap app deploy. There's some other scripts in there for like kind of adding liquidity, for interacting with the swap that you can use. You can always, if you have a web interface for the swap, you can add that on there. But that's the basic swap app deployed, and you can kind of see that that is what you deploy right there will work and function across 4 different chains: Bitcoin, BSC, Polygon, and Ethereum. But there's no, if you open up and look at the Slavy code, there's very few references to the multi-chain piece. It's you can act like you're on a single chain, and it will make it easy to do the multi-chain piece. Alright, so the faucet is not giving out like it should be. So what I recommend doing for this next part, because I'm just going to go back here, go to the labs.zetachain.com and get Zeta. You're going to have to take your private key from here. So you want to go in here and I think it's under settings, and then I won't do it right here where everyone's sitting, but grab your private key, and then in the instructions, as we talked about where you could set this up, this .env file, this .env file, you're going to want to add your private key there. So for this next one, it's going to be the NFT contract. We're going to go to ZetaChain/packages/example contracts. And make sure you have the .env file with your private key in there, and then ZetaChain. Zeta network should be Athens, and then keep this execute program piece in there as well. Alright, who was able to actually get the last one deployed? I know there were some gas issues. Raise your hand if you were. So I know 2 people in the back were. Get that one. Okay, so did you get that one working? Okay, I'll come back to you in a sec. So I want to go through this just so everyone's seen it, and then I'll come back and we'll fix the gas assets for everyone else. But basically, for this Omnichain NFT, we're going to be deploying one on, this is the message passing component. So what I was talking about before with ERC20, that is our Omnichain piece, where you don't need to know about the other chains, but you can still manage assets on them. This is more message passing. If you're like, I have an app on Ethereum and I want to send something over to BSC or Polygon anywhere, this would be the method you use. We recommend the Omnichain piece if you're building a new application. It gets you, it's easier to manage, better operations, and much simpler, but we want to make sure you saw this option as well. So for this one, I'll run through this quick and then come back through with everyone. The instructions are also in that same docs page if you want to go through it step by step. And if you're building on top of us, if you want to build your own NFT project, you can take this file and edit it. But the magic here is this bottom, this ZetaChain protocol asset, these interfaces, the Zeta interface and the Zeta interactor. And then the part that works here is the Zeta interfaces.send input. If you have a contract you want to send cross-chain, you would essentially follow this struct here, and it sends it through. Alright, I'm going to extend it so I can send people tokens since it didn't work from the faucet, but this is essentially how you would deploy the NFT contracts. You're going to go into the examples contract, run the npx hardhat run scripts, and you can copy paste these commands from the doc site. And then once you've deployed at both locations, you have to kind of set the data across them. This is why the cross-chain element is usually a little more difficult than omni-chain. So yeah, anyone else, if you were having problems with the faucet, you couldn't get it from the website, you can send me a message in Telegram and I will just send this to you. Alright, I'm going to walk around and see where everyone's at. Alright, I just sent it to you. It should show up real soon. That was you who messaged me, right? cannot.
My wallet, right?
Yeah.
I just didn't. Well, still the same error.
Yeah, sorry about
to
that.
connect with Twitter.
Can you see real quick? Why is that? Okay.
Maybe I.
Grab my phone and add you. 1 sec. Let's see if I can just. Do you have it if you scan me on that? See, if you tap it, it should. Yeah, it should open up. What's that?
You cannot find the file. I already have the gas fee, but still cannot.
What was the error you were getting?
Cannot find the file. Like in this state.
Yeah. Sorry, go back.
Yeah.
Still go back over.
Here. Almost.
Okay, so let's see where you are. So do pwd to get your current directory. Okay, so hit cd and then space. And you're gonna go basically period period slash period period. We're gonna go back a few directories. Yeah. So now if we look, so now that command will work. I should have said that. You have to go back to the root because all the instructions are written from there.
I have just gas issue with it.
Yeah, our faucet isn't giving out gas. So if you send me, can you send me
I
the?
cannot send.
Why?
Because
Okay, just
I can only send to mutuals.
how do I add you? Yeah, if you give me your QR code there. That's kind of okay, can you send it resend now?
Yeah.
Cool. Hello. One sec.
See you then.
Just, yeah, let's see real quick. Let's go. Setting. Oops. So if you go open up Telegram, go to your settings. I'll just scan your QR code. Yeah. Alright. 1 sec. Yeah, that's right. Okay, I see you there. Let me send it. Yeah, it should be that in a sec. What you need?
Priority script is not just stuck.
For which piece you trying to do?
Priority doesn't work. It's just stuck. BSE works.
Okay.
I
Gorilla can be slow.
tried changing the RPC, but it's saying
Yeah, so give it a moment. Did it fail or did it just
It's stuck for a long time, very, very long time.
So I'll double check. Sometimes Gorley just has issues. It like gas is crazy high.
Here.
And so if you wanted, you could do if you have any Matic, you could do testnet Matic as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because you at the end there where you do like -- network Gorley, you can change that to Matic as well.
Okay, so
Yeah, I guess Polygon - Mumbai. Are you trying to do the cross?
I'm trying to deploy first this. So I should use deploy here.
Oh yeah.
Then I need to connect both, right? Before I need the Polygon Mumbai.
Yeah, whichever one.
How do I do that with this?
Um,
Check cross-chain data.
Actually, yeah. Sorry, you do need to keep them. Let's give it a sec and see if that one the Gorley deploys. Let me check if there's a problem with Gorley.
Okay.
So while it's not working super smoothly, it's a good example that we're EVM compatible, and everything you do normally, you can do here, even if it's manually acting like a faucet.
Can you send me
Yeah.
when you execute the transaction, you only need Zeta, right?
Correct, yeah.
You don't need it.
Correct.
Sure.
So it depends where you're looking. So like for the swap application, we've got at least on our front end, the way we built it for our front end is you can pay strictly in Zeta. You pay in whatever the native is. So if you're on a if you're on Ethereum, you don't need Zeta.
Because I had 01 Zeta, and I tried to send to deploy, and I did try with 2 wallets with 01 Zeta, and both say insufficient funds.
For the NFT one or for the first one?
No, for the first one. It's good.
Yeah, that's there. It's not sending enough. I'm not sure what the deal is there.
Is it because I'm trying again, it's not working.
I think it failed partway through. So if you send me your address,
Maybe we need more than 01 Zeta.
I think so. I think that's part of the problem. So
Why
do you Telegram?
Oh yeah, sure. Or is it like if you do first yarn setup, when you set up your wallet and divide it with Zeta? Remember when you set up wallet with Zeta, right? Is it like if it finds it takes it directly? The configuration when you write the deploy script, it takes this wallet directly and doesn't. Because now I'm writing again. Going through the steps again from the beginning,
Okay.
and I'm not using Ryan's setup tutorial,
Okay.
so it cannot deploy this wallet because I think it's going directly to the other one.
If you
Because
change the .env file,
yeah, but the other one is on JSON. But it only checks the env file, right?
yes, yeah, it's just that
right.
one. So, no, I was just making sure I sent everyone who needed it.
Yeah, so I got this. So this is the.
Yes, so that's for the swap app.
And then I need to submit this here, and then.
Yeah, so that's going to be the JSON you'll submit.
So after this, what's next?
Yeah, so the next one's going to be the NFT.
NFT.
So if you go to the docs website, I'll show you here. So he was just asking what's the next one after the swap app. So we've got the swap app deployed, and so this presentation, I'll share the link again. But you can go to the docs site. The first one we did was this deploy your first EVM contract. That was the first one we walked through. And then the second one's going to be this deploy an omni-chain NFT. And so for the foresight task, when you're done with all this, I'm just going to go back to this and share. You're just going to submit a JSON file to their repo with your wallet address, and then you're going to do the contract address for your swap contract, the Gorley contract, and BSC. And then the curve is kind of a bonus. If you get the curve one done, you can do that there. So I know not everyone's gotten through it, but I'm going to kind of push through and wrap this up, make sure everyone's got the info they need. So the faucet and stuff was having problems. The easiest option is go to labs.zetachain use this web faucet. You have to use MetaMask. It's a little more, you can't just run it from the CLI, but it gets you set up. And then the last example that we aren't going to go through, but just so you're aware it exists, is that curve one. So the links are here, just like in the doc site. But basically, it's deploying a curve contract, and you can do it as a tri-pool. So you can actually do native Ethereum, native BSC, and Bitcoin all on the same curve pool, and just manage it from one place, even though you're going across multiple chains. So that example will walk you through how to do that. And in an example, you'll see references again to the target ZOC20 versus the external stuff.
How much more time that you need?
I'm wrapping up like 5 minutes. I'll be done. All right, I'm being played off. So yeah, at the end though, so we have a grant program that's coming out. We're doing our incentivized test that's being launched right now. We want people to build on us. We'll make sure you have assets that are not stuck from a faucet like this to test it out with us. But we're building a grant program. You can reach out to my colleague Brandon, and we want to have people build DeFi apps, build game apps, help with documentation, tutorials, anything you want to build, we are open to. Things you can try out today. Again, that doc site, our GitHub repo, you're now set up with it. Hopefully, once I sent you that, you were able to deploy that first contract, and you'll be able to get in there and tweak that contract, make some adjustments for yourself. And then just some hackathon tracks and ideas. We do have a hackathon prize here. It's basically the top prize, or top person from any of these verticals win a $1,000 prize. We've got sort of DeFi user experience improvements. So if you're a front-end developer, you don't know much about smart contracts, maybe you build a better way to interact with omni-chain contracts. We've got anything to do with DFT or NFTs, DAOs, and then just general identity, social, and wallet. All right, so I reference some of these things. If you want to go play around with Zeta, there's labs.zetachain.com. Just some fun stats about us. We've got about 250 DApps deployed on our testnet. We have over 700,000 users. We've had 8 million cross-chain transactions and well over 100 million internal transactions. Roadmap, as I mentioned, we're in this stage right now in the middle, launching an incentivized testnet with mainnet happening later this year. And then after that, we'll obviously take the DAO approach, be more decentralized and kind of governed by the community. All right, thank you. I try to minimize how many emails I get, so this is my colleague Brandon. He'll help you with anything, especially as far as grants go. You can add us here. This QR code will take you to our link tree. Follow us on Twitter. We've got a Discord server that is very, very active. Jonathan, who you met earlier, manages that. All right. Any questions? I meant to open that a little earlier. And if you couldn't get Athens, just message me, and I will get you set up with testnet tokens for that. All right. Thanks, everyone.